Up and down, counting out, smiling through the taste of blood in my own mouth. I got bruises and broken bones, but they don't know I ain't in this ring alone. I'm a fighter, no one can say that I'm a running hider. I was born to be a do-or-dyer, a make-it-righter. Don't throw that towel just yet, don't cash in that last bet, 'cause I hit harder when I'm tired. I'm a fighter. I get back up, that's what I do. I didn't soldier on this far just to lose. So take your shot, is that all you got? I'm a fighter, no one can say that I'm a running hider. I was born to be a do-or-dyer, a make-it-righter. Don't throw that towel just yet, don't cash in that last bet, 'cause I hit harder when I'm tired. Yeah, I'm a fighter. Oh, no one can keep me down. They didn't know, but they know now. That I'm a fighter. No one can say that I'm a running hider. Don't cash in that last bet, don't throw that towel just yet. I'm a fighter.
What a powerful new song that came out this week. I heard it's #1. Good evening, everyone. Hey, friends. I see we've got a few folks in chat. We've got Rocker Lady and Carrie and Herbie and Magnolia. Thank you guys for joining tonight. This is going to be interesting. Before we get started, I just want to say hello and welcome to Questions Worth Pondering, where we pose questions related to current events and historical events. And I'm your host, Nevs. And in today's episode will be part 2, where we're going to talk about Haiti and the Clinton Foundation. With that, I'd like you to... Sorry, I'm just checking chat. I think things are a little delayed for me. Anyway, I would love it if you'd consider supporting me. You can leave a Rumble rant on Rumble, or you can subscribe on Rumble, or you can buy me a coffee. I've got my link to Linktree, and Linktree has a Buy Me a Coffee, and that's where you can follow me on my social media platforms in various places. I really appreciate your support, everyone. Thank you. And one of the things I just want to say, and I'll probably say this at the beginning of all my shows, is the fact that we all have questions. And that's what this show is about, questions worth pondering. And sometimes our questions lead to more questions, and that's okay. Other times, our questions will expose corruption, but whatever road that we're led down, it doesn't matter. As long as we find the truth, and that's what we're after. We're after the truth. So let's dig in, shall we? I think I kind of want to do just a quick summary of what we covered last time. I've got my notes here. And on part one, which is linked in the description of the Rumble video, we started off with Trump roasting Clinton, and he was talking about Haiti and the Clintons. And then we went into seeing what's going on in Ohio and what some of the residents are saying there. And then we talked about the Trump debate because Trump brought this up, the fact that people's pets are being killed and geese and ducks are being taken. And Kamala and MSM laughed at him, but they kind of got proven wrong anyway. They always get a boomerang, don't they? Always get a boomerang. So we covered that, and they talked about Trump being angry, and he said, "That's right, I'm angry." And then they had a bomb threat, which I talked about how I feel like, they're trying to make people stop making these claims and stop talking about Haiti. And that led into us starting to go over the history. So Haiti had an earthquake, but I went back in time to the 1880s and early 1900s where I discovered through some of the research that, Haiti was taken over by some of bankers in France and in the United States. And so there were a lot of shenanigans there. And Hillary and Bill visited Haiti after their marriage, when they got married. And then Clinton in 1994, he had the military go into Haiti, and there was military action in there. So that was super sus. And where we left off was when in 2009, Bill Clinton became the UN envoy to Haiti. That's just the year before, just months before the earthquake hit. And that's where we left off. And we also talked about how Hillary, the timing is interesting because Hillary became Secretary of State in 2008. Bill Clinton named envoy to Haiti in 2009. The earthquake hit in 2010. And Hillary's becoming Secretary of State, just the whole thing. And we also showed that they had an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, that the Clinton Foundation would not accept any foreign donations while Hillary was Secretary of State. So I wasn't able to get through the rest of it, so that's what we're doing tonight. And I just have to give you a heads up that we're going to talk about a couple of suspicious deaths tonight, and I am going to do Coffee and Conspiracies on Saturday because there is a whole list of a huge list of suspicious deaths surrounding not just the Clinton Foundation, but just the deep state in general, and warnings. And I want to get to those. I wanted to tonight, but as I was prepping my notes for tonight's show, I realized we're only going to get through so much. So I do want to talk about the controversy, though, around the Clintons. And let's see, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So sorry, that was a long intro, but I think it's good to set the context of where we were and where we're heading. So let's see. I do want to start with Bill Clinton. I want us to watch the video of him addressing the UN because this kind of sets the stage, and then I'll have some commentary after that. But just as a reminder, I'm going to share my screen. This is what I had brought up before, this day in history that massive earthquake struck Haiti on January 12th, 2010. All right, so with that, I want to look at Bill Clinton's video, and then we'll chat about it after. I want to make sure, let's see, 2010. Here it is. All right, let's watch this.
Number one, a lot of people out here in the United States and around the world want to help. And the temptation is to send things that you imagine will be needed. We do not have the logistical and organizational capacity right now to handle a lot of things, even if we need those things. Some of the streets are broken, the power lines are down, there are problems. So if anybody within the sound of my voice wants to do something individually or through a group, remember what the Secretary General said. Right now, for the next week or 10 days, we need water, food, shelter, and first aid supplies. That's what we need. We've got to save as many lives as possible and keep the people who are wounded as healthy as possible, and give water to people where there's no more clean water and feed them. That's what we need. So the most important thing individuals can do who care is to send cash, even if it's $1 or $2. Number two, we set up a website for the UN for people. If you want to give money to the Red Cross, Red Crescent, or UNICEF, or any of the other groups, you can. If you want to send it to this website, I will give the cash to the people immediately for water, food, shelter, first aid supplies. That's what we need until we get through here and find out every living person and every person who didn't survive. And that website is www.clintonfoundation.org/Haiti earthquake. All the money.
Send cash to Clinton Foundation /Haiti earthquake. And we will make sure that that money goes to help those people in need. Well, you know, now hindsight is 2020. You know, now it's been reported that only 10% of the funds that were sent to the Clinton Foundation actually went to help the Haiti people. He said to send money to the Clinton Foundation. Can you believe that? So he's like, even though there are some other organizations, I ended it early, so I don't know if I skipped that part, but he's like, yes, I know there's other organizations, but send it to us. Now, Hillary Clinton is Secretary of State, and he's asking for all this money to the UN to go to the Clinton Foundation. Just shenanigans. I mean, they didn't even worry about perception of how that's even going to look, you know? So, anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. All right, so hang on. We're going to talk about the relief effort. And I just need to cue this up. I need to go 1 minute in. And then I'll share my screen again. Whoops. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Hillary went to Haiti a couple of times in the, you know, after the earthquake hit. And I still can't believe the 7.0. I can't even imagine an earthquake that size. All right. So she was there in Haiti.
The deep sympathy that President and Mrs. Obama and our entire country feels for the terrible tragedy that has affected the people of Haiti. And we will work with your government under the direction of President Preval to assist in every way we can.
So, yeah, she went there. She was talking about how much they were assisting the people. But here's what happened, guys. They got all these contracts for rebuilding. And those contracts went to donors, huge donors. The contractors went to huge donors who donated to the Clinton Foundation. And what did they build? They built some hotels and some businesses, like big businesses, wherever they had interests. So unfortunately, the people got the shaft. All of that money either went into the pockets of the Clintons or to their contractors that donated to the Clinton Foundation. All right, so I've got another one related to this. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to pull this back up.
We want to switch gears and speak with Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton, who is coordinating the relief efforts in Haiti. Good morning, Madam Secretary.
Good morning, Maggie.
We have heard all morning long from people in Haiti who just want help, and they're frustrated that it has been slow in arriving. We've also heard about the many U.S. resources that have been deployed to Haiti. Can you tell the people there and their relatives watching here in this country when you expect these resources will start to make a difference there?
Well, they already are. The president ordered a swift, coordinated, aggressive response, and that's exactly what we've been doing. But let me just give you a sense of what we're up against. The airport lost its air traffic control system, and of course it was damaged. In order to get the airport up and going so we can land the kind of heavy planes with the massive amounts of aid that is needed, we had to send in a military team to get the airport running. That has been accomplished. You heard about how the port has been damaged. That is a big problem because that prevents us from getting our ships in. We have a team working on that. We also have our crack search and rescue teams from FEMA and USAID, from Fairfax County, from Miami-Dade, from LA. They're already there on the ground.
So they had FEMA there, UNICEF, different organizations going and helping with relief efforts. And one of the big things that happened within days of the earthquake is an organization from a Baptist church in Idaho went to Haiti to help rescue children. And this is this whole situation around the orphaned children is why I wanted to cover this. So there was a group led by a woman. Her name was Laura Silsby. And they were going there, the group, with the belief that they were going to help kids who were orphaned by the earthquake. And there was a lot of controversy around this group. So Laura Silsby. All right. Oh, there's a bookmark that I do not have. Okay, so basically, Laura Silsby headed up this group of missionaries. And I've got a lot on this, and I'm going to just, I guess, I don't know where to start here. I've got a few videos, and did I put them? Yes. Okay, so here's what happened. They were accused of kidnapping kids by the Haiti government, and they were arrested. And all of them were arrested. And let's see, Laura Silsby. And I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my bookmarks. I'm trying to figure out what to show you first. She wanted to take the kids. She had all these kids that she wanted to take out of Haiti and bring to the Dominican Republic. And she did not have permission to take these kids. And she was claiming they were orphaned by the earthquake. But many of these children were questioned, and they said that their parents were alive and they don't know why, they're taken from their parents. And some of the parents actually handed their kids off to this group because they thought that they were going to be able to have a better life after the earthquake. And it's a really sad situation there, where parents were so desperate for their kids to not have to live through devastation. So, but they didn't have permission. They didn't go through the proper channels, and they basically were accused of human trafficking, because basically they were just taking these kids and leaving. And Laura Silsby, well, if I find it, she has quite the history. She had some failed businesses in, I think it was in Idaho. And yeah, she has a sordid history. And she was a flat broke, and yet she was saying she was building a business, starting a business in the Dominican Republic, an orphanage. And what's not mentioned in any of the MSM articles, but I had found a little blip of it, is that she has known Hillary Clinton since 2001 at least, at the earliest. And this was in 2010. So what does the MSM do? They don't call it out for human trafficking. You know what they say? This is NPR. They say that she was a serial rule breaker. So this is her. This is Laura Silsby. It says Laura Silsby, 40, left, and Charissa Coulter, 24. Watch as a Haitian police officer asked journalists to leave the police truck. So they were arrested, and they were charged. And Laura Silsby actually ended up being the only one that had to face charges in Haiti. The rest of them were let go because it was discovered that she was the leader of the group. It was all her plan, and they had no idea what was happening. They thought they were just going to help people, supposedly. And they were all from this Baptist church in Idaho. So, yeah. She wanted to have the Clintons help her, and the State Department put out a notice saying that they weren't going to get involved. But, all right, so I am going to go to the next one. This is Harvard Law. This was a paper written up by someone at Harvard. I don't know if I can shrink this, how much I can shrink that down, so I can show you this. All right. This paper, I'm going to give you guys a link to it because it's really good. It goes over a lot of the history of what happened there. So it talks about the earthquake happening. But then it talks about the missionaries, and that the missionaries claimed they had good intentions to set up an orphanage, but investigations showed that none of the children were orphans. None of them. Prodded in part by President Clinton's diplomatic efforts on behalf of the missionaries, the Haitian justice system determined that none of the missionaries were guilty of illegal activities except for the leader, Laura Silsby, who faced a lesser charge of organizing illegal travel. Why would they go there and take kids that aren't orphans and say they were orphaned? Right? I mean, that's the question we should be asking. And this is where the whole human trafficking controversy around Hillary Clinton started. Along with the Haitian justice system, some observers excused the missionaries' actions, even though they rose to the level of child trafficking. And that's exactly what they were doing. That was child trafficking. Let's see what else I highlighted in this article. This is 48 pages, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's a good read if you want to read it. She talks about, in this paper, about monohumanism, which describes a process of othering. This is really interesting, in context of inter-country adoption. This term is a collective notion identifying us as Westerners and everyone else as the other. The narrative of identity I've previously described that accompanies monohumanism subscribes both universality and superiority to Western knowledge and discourse, which effectively results in the exclusion and displacement of knowledge and discourse of historically oppressed people. In the context of ICA, monohumanism means that children are not seen in the context of family, of their family, community, and culture, but rather narrowly as a potential children of Western adults. Doesn't that sound familiar, you know? The left has been wanting to say that they're not your children, they're our children. And this kind of talks about how cultures in other countries aren't respected. But that we think we know what's best for the kids based on our Western culture. It's very elitist to think that way. And she's coined this as monohumanism. And let's see what else I got going on here. Monohumanism. I think that's all I've got highlighted here. I thought that was just an interesting take on the minds that are trying to take these kids. So, you know, even though the State Department said that they weren't going to get involved, well, the Clintons did get involved, and they're the ones that demanded that these missionaries get released. So they did get them off. And even though Laura Silsby was convicted, she got to leave right after the trial in May. The earthquake happened in January. She was going to take these kids to the Dominican Republic, and she was convicted, found guilty, and yet she got to be free. So her sentence was time served, basically. So I've got some of the videos on these missionaries, and here's Hillary. Here's Hillary making a statement.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We are providing counselor services. We have full access to them. The American ambassador is speaking with his counterparts in the Haitian government. Obviously, this is a matter for the Haitian judicial system. We're going to continue to provide support, as we do in every instance like this, to American citizens who have been charged, and hope that this matter can be resolved in an expeditious way.
So she said this is a matter for the Haitian judicial system. So did they strong arm that judicial system so that judge would let her leave with time served? So she was only in jail for just a little bit of time, waiting for that trial to get over. And how did that trial happen so quickly? I mean, the country was in the middle of trying to clean up from a major earthquake. I mean, imagine how much time that takes. And they prioritize getting these trials over with. Very sus how quickly. Like, not even here in the United States, and we're guaranteed a speedy trial, would we get one within 2 months of the trial happened in March. And would we get one in 2 months of being accused of a crime? No, especially a serious crime like that. How does even the prosecution come up with all their evidence in that short of a time? Crazy. So I've got 2 more videos on the missionaries, and I'm trying to figure out which one to do first. I have no idea. I'll do this one.
As the 10 American missionaries arrived in court in Port-au-Prince on Thursday, they believed that they would soon be set free.
We expect that God's will be done. We will be released. We are looking forward to what God is going to do.
But a Haitian prosecutor decided the accusations against them were serious enough to build a criminal case. He charged them with child kidnapping and criminal association for trying to take 33 children out of the country without the required documentation. The decision came somewhat...
So that was Laura Silsby talking there, saying that, talking about God in that. And then I've got one more here. This is a long video, so I don't know how much I'm going to show.
David on the phone, let me start with you. Laura Silsby came to you, to your orphanage, said she was looking for orphans to take away. Didn't that strike you as odd?
Yes. Laura came to our orphanage very friendly, very polite, asking us, do we need help, and do we have any children that are injured and that need help. And well, we answered them. We told her that we had children that had fever and the cold, and they said that they can help by giving us some medicine. And
but she also told you,
do we have difficulty?
She also told you that she wanted to take kids into the Dominican Republic, correct?
Well, let me explain it to you. She was asking us, can she help us by taking a few children for us, so that they could be raised in an orphanage, in another orphanage.
And what did you tell her about that?
Hello?
Yes, what did you tell her about that, David?
Well, I told her that, the adoption process is difficult for me to take decisions, and the person that takes decisions is not here.
So you told her that she could not take...
Arthur Lewis, my father.
But you told her that she could not take kids into the Dominican Republic without the permission of the government, correct?
No, I don't know much about that. But I only told her that I can't make those type of decisions. That's
okay.
all I did.
Richard.
So that was CNN, believe it or not, um, covering the fact that she was going to other places asking if she could take children. How did she get these children who were not orphans? That's one of my questions. Um, so this was back in 2010. So, Obama hadn't signed the new Mockingbird, uh, the new Mockingbird bill that doesn't allow the government to control the media. So that was back when the media actually covered stories, and it's shocking that there was a lot of CNN coverage on this, and it was good coverage at the time. So, but basically, the Clintons got her off. I think, and it's just my opinion. I think that they strong armed the justice system, and because in Haiti, I don't know. I've got this somewhere. I don't know when I'm going to bring it up, but basically in Haiti, they referred to Hillary Clinton as their governor. The Clintons were so involved in Haiti that people jokingly called her the governor. So she had a lot of control over Haiti, a lot. All right. I want to know where all the money went, though. So there was no building back of Haiti. Let me see. What is that? In 2016, it was reported that the factory where big money State Department and the Clintons meet. What I want to know is, where did all the money go? So Hillary Clinton hailed the factory churning out Old Navy sweatshirts in an industrial park as a shining achievement in their efforts to rebuild the island nation. That's not what the people needed. They didn't need an Old Navy sweatshirt shop. And it says, but the garment factory undelivered on projected jobs. So Haiti workers have accused managers of bullying and sexual harassment. An ABC News investigation found that after opening its factory in the Haitian Industrial Park, built with $400 million of global aid, why would they build that? Why would they prioritize something like that with the money that came in? The Korean firm became a Clinton Foundation donor, and its owner invested in a startup company owned by Hillary Clinton's former chief of staff. The corruption runs deep, guys. The rabbit hole on this stuff is crazy. I found some more interesting information lately, but basically, there's the money didn't go to where it needed to go, which is to the people. It went to corporations. And there's been a lot of reporting on that, but, they just didn't build back. Haiti was not rebuilt. People did not get their homes rebuilt. And even years and years later, there was a news report of people still living in tents, like 5 years later. Really sad, really sad. So, let me see what's next. The next thing I want to bring up is the fact that a lot of things related to Haiti came out because of WikiLeaks. The WikiLeaks emails came out. Let's see which one I want to show first. The WikiLeaks email dump on Hillary Clinton came out in 2016. And this is where we learned about what conversations were happening behind the scenes regarding Haiti, because there was a lot in the media about how the Clintons were favoring their donors, that the Haitian people weren't getting rebuilt. There was a lot of controversy around the human trafficking, a lot of things that they needed to try to squash the narrative. They needed to get that they needed to get rid of that narrative. So, so I did a little filtering on these emails, and they had a lot of conversations around. This is just a filter looking up where Haiti is mentioned. So if you go to the WikiLeaks emails, you can just filter on Haiti, and you can see some of the emails that were going around. And all right, so some of this is, let's see, like they've got this Haiti child trafficking. This is where they were talking about the missionaries being arrested and that kind of thing. But this one here, like examples of successful global media engagement in Haiti. It says unclassified by the Department of State. And this talks about how they want to change the narrative, basically. So once I get a better understanding of how we plan to move forward on a regional basis, we will work on putting together a comprehensive PD strategy to support our efforts. So this was to Hillary from Cheryl, or CC'd Cheryl Mills, and I want to talk about Cheryl Mills. And this is from an employee at the State Department. All right. If you like the idea, I can begin to trial balloon it with the media execs in the U.S. and L.A. that I know personally to gauge their reaction. So they want to come up with a narrative. They're going to run it by media in the United States. This is just propaganda efforts, really. And there's a lot of emails around them sharing what the news media has put out for articles, and they're all happy about what the media has had to say. I think this is worth going through, so part of what I'm going to do as a part of this is not only finish the thread I started on Twitter, but what I'm going to do is on the Substack, I'm going to put a timeline together, and then under each like year of in order, I'm doing everything in order of happenings. I will include all these links, all these videos, and in my Telegram post for the show, I think I'll just put a comment to the post for the show and just dump everything in there too. So you guys can access a lot of this information. One thing I want to bring up before I continue with this is that and I was talking to Sammy about this. She offered to proofread my last article. So thank you, Sammy, for proofreading for me. I appreciate it. And one of the things that I talked about to her was I want to put some information like this where we need to reference it in the future quickly into some kind of reference online, like a wiki that's really fast, where you can find things fast. And so if anybody's interested in volunteering to help me throw that together, let me know. I am going to use wiki software that I can put out publicly and build it up privately. I've already got it ready and set up for people to help contribute. So if anybody's interested, you can leave a comment here on the video or reach out to me on Telegram. You can just put a comment on my channel on one of my posts or something. So that's what actually, at the end here, I'm going to talk about all the various projects I have underway that I'm kind of excited about. All right, so back to WikiLeaks. You remember Seth Rich? Well, let's watch Julian Assange for a minute and talk about this. See, one thing leads to another, and everything's connected. And but let's see what he has to say about the leaked Clinton emails. Is it not playing? Let me remove it and then re-add it. Hang on. Sorry about that. What is going on? You know what? I have this spiritual warfare when I need to pull, when I have technical issues with these shows. Hang on a second. I'm going to make sure it's going to play. Weird. Okay. I just tested it on my computer to see if it would play for me, and it is. So I'm going to bring it up a different way. Bear with me. I'll just set it up while it's uploading. So Julian Assange was questioned about the Hillary emails. And it's interesting. He never mentioned Seth Rich at all. But I believe that he is referring to Seth Rich in this video. Let's watch it.
Donald Trump has had a disastrous few weeks. If you look at the polls, he needs a miracle. In the American political lexicon, there's such a thing as the October surprise. The stuff that you're sitting on, is an October surprise in there? Do you even know what you're sitting on?
WikiLeaks never sits on material. Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material, and often very significant risks. As a 27-year-old works for the DNC, who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks, and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
But why make the suggestion about a young guy being shot in the streets of Washington?
Because we have to understand how high the stakes are in the United States, and that our sources are, our sources face serious risks. That's why they come to us, so we can protect their anonymity.
But it's quite something to suggest a murder. That's basically what you're doing.
Well, that others have suggested that. We are investigating to understand what happened in that situation with Seth Rich. I think it is a concerning situation. There's not a conclusion yet. We wouldn't be willing to state a conclusion, but we are concerned about it. And more importantly, a variety of WikiLeaks sources are concerned when that kind of thing happens.
So, you know he's referring to Seth Rich there, and that is really interesting. So Seth Rich is one of the people that I wanted to cover on the mysterious deaths, right? So Seth Rich was killed, and it just so happened we discovered that he is the one who leaked the Clinton emails, and he just happened to be killed after that, after those were sent to WikiLeaks. And Seth Rich's parents, I don't know if like, maybe, I don't know if they weren't suspicious, but bless their hearts. So they're talking here about Seth. And I don't know what's going on with the videos. So maybe I need to not use StreamYard anymore and go to Rumble Studio. Hang on. I got to upload a video. Oh my goodness. I hope this doesn't happen with all the rest of my videos. Maybe, just maybe, I might have to be uploading videos while I chat with you guys. Let's see. Now, this video was from Pepe Lives Matter. I took it from, I don't remember when he posted it, but let's remove this. I am so sorry about the technical difficulties. You guys know when I have these subjects, I have technical difficulties. At least it's not my internet, and we can chat. And I can just speak to some of these videos I have too. But some of them I can't. So I definitely want to just pre-upload some of the other videos that I'm going to be talking about. All right. I might just go ahead and skip the parents video. One person I want to talk about is Cheryl Mills. Actually, it finally uploaded, so I'll show it.
Definitely not a cold case, nor will it ever be.
Mary and Joel Rich want answers to their son Seth's murder, but right now, police don't have any.
Our son's dead. There are two murderers running wild. And these two murderers are people that shot a kid in the back.
In the early morning hours of July 10th, 2016, D.C. Metro Police found Rich lying on the ground, shot twice in the back. He later died at a hospital. Police say nothing was taken from Rich, and they're looking into whether it was a botched robbery.
There is no good, strong evidence. It was 4 a.m, and not people walking by. So it's going to take a lead.
It was the same weekend when they were shooting all of the officers and the other people, and he could have been, it was that weekend, he could have been tied up in a hate crime.
Rich went to Central High School, then studied.
Not a hate crime. Definitely not a hate crime. So that kind of gives you information as to what happened to Seth Rich. The timing is interesting. But the WikiLeaks came out anyway. But the question really is was that retribution for leaking these emails? Seth Rich is a patriot for doing that. I think, before I get to Cheryl Mills, there is, I don't remember who posted this in my channel, who it was from, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you credit. Was it Jackie Lee? I think Jackie Lee did. There is a Haitian American who was interviewed. His name is Joseph Matthew, and I believe this interview was from 2016, and he went and he just gave the entire overview of all the shenanigans and corruption that's happening in Haiti. It's a super long video. I'm not going to show the whole thing because it's like 10 minutes long, but I think it's worth at least watching a little bit of it because I'm definitely going to share this video with you guys. This will be a part of the thread, and I'll have it as a part of some of the videos that I offer up.
Well, we have every reason to be mad because the Clintons have destroyed Haiti for the decades. And, you know, they pretend to be our friends when in reality they are our number one enemies. You know, there are some other people who clearly behave like they don't like us. So it's easy for us to protect ourselves against them because we know they are our enemies. But the Clintons are even more dangerous because they pretend to be our friends when in reality they're destroying Haiti.
Because I heard that the Clinton Foundation and all these other organizations gave over $6 billion to Haiti for the relief effort, especially during the kind of natural disasters that you guys have gone through. Is that true?
No, it's more than true. The money is much more than $6 billion. You see, after the earthquake, countries around the world donate billions of dollars. The amount was much larger than $6 billion. And Bill Clinton was in charge of the money. And not only people around the world, but also American celebrities donate a lot of larger money to rebuild Haiti. And hundreds of homes were destroyed after the earthquake. And if you can believe, the people are still living under tents. That's unacceptable. And not only they held the money, they kept the money, but Haiti had enough resources for them to be very comfortable. Haiti have oil, more oil than Venezuela. Nobody's talking about. Haiti have gold. We have one of the largest gold mine in the Caribbean. So
he goes on to talk about all the corruption. He was just, he knew it all. He knew it all. He's talking about how rich Haiti is, and I was talking about that too. Like, Haiti's got the gold, they've got oil, you know, iridium and different minerals and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But I want to move on to, really quick, to Cheryl Mills, because I want to get to some other interesting things. I've got one more death I'm going to cover tonight that is suspicious. Actually, two more. And yeah, so we're almost done, but I do want to go to Cheryl Mills. And this is so interesting, guys. This is an article from Politico, if you can believe it. Let's see when this article, it was 2015. This was from September of 2015. And they titled it, "The Only Person Who Says No to Hillary." All right, so they are talking about Cheryl Mills. Cheryl Mills kept coming up in my research, and I'm like, it's almost like Hillary's being controlled by this gal, seriously. I want to do more of a deep dive on her, but for now, and if you haven't heard of her, she will sound familiar to you. When you see her, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know that face. Oh, Seth Rich is from Omaha. Interesting. Okay, but I did highlight a couple things that I wanted to call out about Cheryl Mills. She appears to treat Clinton like an equal, which appears to be a rarity in Clinton's world. Of course, nobody that works for her treats her like an equal. I don't know if you guys heard stories when she was the first lady, how hard she was to work with. All kinds of stories there, but we won't get into that. And then it says, Mills, in contrast, sometimes communicates with Clinton the way Clinton communicates with other staffers. So she treated Hillary Clinton as if Clinton was her staffer, yet she was working for Hillary. All right. And then Cheryl is not intimidated by either one of the Clintons, said a former aide of the long relationship. Mills was perhaps more prominently one of Bill Clinton's top attorneys during his impeachment. So she represented Bill Clinton when he was being impeached back in the 90s. Mills has been their lawyer for a long time. There are no secrets, the former aide said. Cheryl knows everything, and it says that's a great equalizer for them. She knows where the bodies are buried. So I have a feeling she's very controlling of them. And then it says here, it sometimes looks like there's a role reversal between principal and staffer. So this is really an interesting article that talks about Cheryl Mills. And then it says she was one of Clinton's inner circle strongly advocating against a second presidential bid. And because Hillary lost her first bid, she was telling Hillary not to run again. But she remains connected to the Clinton network, serving on the board of the Clinton Foundation. So she's on the Clinton board. And then she has been known for sharing the Clintons' propensity never to apologize and share as little information as possible. No one's going to question Cheryl's commitment and loyalty to the Clintons. Interesting. Who's running who, right? What's also, I have more on Cheryl. I have a lot on Cheryl, actually. Let's see. Yeah, real quick, I'll show this, not the whole video, but it kind of, I think I had, I want to start at 1:15. I gave myself a timer here where to start this because I didn't want to show it all. All right.
Let's get Cheryl Mills up. There she is, occupation lawyer, Clinton advisor. Former role, she was the State Department chief of staff and Clinton's 2008 general counsel. Loyal to Hillary to a fault, whip smart, and speaks honestly, one of the few people in Hillary Clinton's world who talks to her and will talk hard truths. Number 2. There we go. Her recent activity, Hillary Clinton's State Department staff kept a tight rein on records. That's the story we were just talking about. And number 3, that's a picture of her in the 1990s, Cheryl Mills, when she was defending Bill Clinton in that impeachment investigation back on Capitol Hill, earning a reputation with Republicans for.
So that kind of gives you some background on who Cheryl Mills is. I really think she's running things, and so I might do a deep dive on her. I've got a couple more videos.
And we've seen a lot of different stories about Hillary Clinton and the foundation and the State Department. Is there anything different in this story that could impact her momentum in the campaign?
Well, I think just the idea that this kind of stuff continues to drip out, certainly it will continue to sort of hold her back a little bit and continue to sow the doubts of a lot of people who are concerned, both in the Democratic Party and those that aren't, about what she was doing and the judgment she had in not only using a private email server, but then having all these connections to the foundation. I will say this, though, Jenna. I used to cover the federal workforce across the country and federal agencies. It is correct to say that in your own free time on a volunteer basis, someone could be working for a charity or a nonprofit foundation. Of course, the problem in this case is Cheryl Mills wasn't working for the Girl Scouts or the Red Cross. She was working for a nonprofit foundation that happened to be tied to her boss.
Yeah, exactly. So she was intermingled between working for Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State and the Clinton Foundation. And so she was getting called out for some of those ties.
And tensions boiling over at an FBI interview. Longtime Clinton aide Cheryl Mills reportedly storming out of the interview over an off-limits topic. Fox News Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Harris is here. Catherine, what happened?
Well, we've confirmed that there was an interview between Mills and the FBI, and the Washington Post has more details.
So I'm not going to play this whole video, but Cheryl Mills stormed out of a meeting with the FBI because they asked her questions that they weren't allowed to ask. I mean, what kind of yeah. So she's even going to boss the FBI around. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting that she stormed out. And let's see what's next. I'm not going to cover too much of Cheryl Mills, but I think it's important to understand that she might be running the show. What did I title this one? Clinton email probe. Okay. She also had to testify when Hillary had to testify about her emails and the email server. This a lot of this Haiti stuff came out with the WikiLeaks, and then Hillary was under investigation for destroying her email server. Cheryl Mills was offered immunity, and she testified. But let's just continue.
America's election headquarters in death tonight. Former President Bill Clinton says the Clinton Foundation will no longer accept foreign money, and he will step down from the board if his wife is elected in November.
Oh, I should have shown this when I was talking about her becoming Secretary of State. So I'm going to skip past this one because I missed out on playing this one.
We begin, though, with two questions for the Clinton campaign. Was it a conflict of interest, and was it criminal? Both centering squarely on Hillary Clinton's time at the State Department and the overlap during her tenure with the Clinton Foundation. The foundation, we should point out, has been widely praised for the work it does on global health and other world problems. That's not the issue. What is, though, is whether any ethical or legal lines were crossed at the time. And tonight,
You know, do you notice how they talk? Like, were any ethical or legal lines crossed? But when it comes to them reporting on Trump, where there is no illegal activity, they hammer it in, and yeah. So basically, there was a lot of coverage with the Clinton Foundation and the fact that Hillary was Secretary of State and all the shenanigans and corruption going on there. And it's a lot of it's related to Haiti. And some people are questioning whether or not all of the information on Haiti that was in her private emails is why those were destroyed. So remember, it was like 37,000 emails that were destroyed. And there were emails dating way back several years, not just this time or not just about the earthquake, but even earlier, because they had a lot going on in Haiti. Like Bill Clinton with the potential, in my opinion, alleged military coup, not once, but twice, an installment of governments, all of that. How come nobody's talking about that email server anymore? They say that she destroyed things, but there is technology in place today where they can recover anything. So what's going on there? Somebody needs to get out that. I obviously don't have the power to do that, but I feel like that needs to be looked into. There's got to be backups also. Like, she had to been using some kind of email program, even though she had a private server, whether it was Google or whatever, through her domain. Anyway, last thing about Cheryl Mills is she was granted immunity.
So why did the FBI grant Cheryl Mills immunity, and what are the political ramifications? Joining me now to discuss, Adriana Cohen, Shelby Holliday, and Mark Alderman stays with us. Shelby, let me ask you first. There was also the State Department 2,800 emails Hillary Clinton never turned over. Somehow they found those. This document dump that Catherine just talked about. But the immunity is really worrisome here because that might have impacted the entire investigation.
Yeah, and you mentioned the emails that are just coming out, but the bigger story is what emails are not going to come out, which we will never see, and that could have a lot to do with Cheryl Mills, because Cheryl Mills was Clinton's chief of staff at the State Department. She now represents Clinton as a lawyer, and Cheryl Mills got this immunity deal. We will never know if she destroyed documents, if she obstructed information, if she obstructed the FBI from getting Clinton's emails. And she also may have hid emails from Huma Abedin, another aide of Hillary Clinton's, who sort of facilitated these Clinton Foundation requests to the State Department. So yeah, we have these emails coming up, but there are so many more we may never, ever see.
Adriana, I saw a poll recently where Clinton's emails were.
Yeah, so she was offered immunity. They were asking why and how it could impact the investigation. And those are good questions worth pondering. Just a quick update on, in 2015, just an example of some of the donors that gave to the Clinton Foundation. I'm waiting for it to load. I had to archive it because the page was gone. So I'm going to remove this and then I'll add it back. Once it loads up, man, these technical issues. All right, while that loads, basically, it showed a lot of the donors for the Clintons included. Here we go. It finally loaded. I don't know what's going on. Do you guys know I have like the highest high-speed internet because I do live streams? So I have like the super internet. So it's not my internet. My internet's great. I should do a live like speed test for you guys to show you how great it is. Maybe I should do that. Anyway, I'm going to share this. This is an archived page from the Clinton Foundation. And when they were getting the heat, because I don't think they're doing this anymore, they made it transparent as to who was donating to their organization. I think they did this when she was, well, no, she wasn't Secretary of State at this time. Well, maybe when did she stop being Secretary of State? I don't know. But I think after Obama was no longer president, they stopped reporting this. So this is contributor and grant information to the Clinton Foundation. And these are for donations that are between $10 million and $25 million. All right. So let's look at some of these. We've got Australia Aid, the Commonwealth of Australia, the Government of Norway, and then the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That one surprised me. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And then we've got the Rockefeller Foundation. I just thought some of these donors were kind of interesting. So again, I'll be sharing this link, but I just wanted you to know that on the archive, you can go and look some of these up, and you can filter, and you can go to different years. And but the archive site is a little bit slow. So it might be worth revisiting before I get into the, what is, yeah. So it might be worth revisiting that video I showed you guys on Tuesday about turtles.
Directions who are involved in this. You know, one of my husband's favorite old Southern sayings, which I keep thinking about when I look at all these things that just kind of come up and happen all the time, is that, you know, if you find a turtle on a fence post, it didn't get there by accident. And I just look at the landscape around here and I see just lots of big old turtles sitting on lots of fence posts. And I think we need to find out how those old turtles got on those fence posts, because there's just a lot going on behind the scenes and kind of under the radar screen that I think the American public has a right to know. And I encourage every journalist, every media outlet to help us understand all these curious relationships and make sense out of them.
So curious. Yes, we need to make sense. Turtles on a fence post. I think I might start using that that reference when we're digging. Let's talk about turtles on a fence post, shall we? All right, I've got one more suspicious death, and it's related to Haiti and the human trafficking controversy. There's another death that fact checkers are saying has nothing to do with Haiti, but there was a woman who supposedly, allegedly, was doing research on what happened with the human trafficking in Haiti after the earthquake. Her name was Monica Peterson. Have you guys heard of her? I'm sure you have, because I think the Laura Silsby and Monica Peterson are pretty familiar to everybody, but let me see which one I want to pull up first. Not the fact check. Well, maybe I will just pull up the fact checkers. Oh, no, I'll pull up this video first. InfoWars actually was who reported it. And not that I'm advocating for them or anything, but it's kind of interesting information. So I want to go ahead and play some of this.
Beyond the neglect, something far more nefarious was occurring. Haitian children were disappearing. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported United Nations officials say children have gone missing from hospitals in Haiti since the devastating January 12th earthquake, raising fears of trafficking. We have documented around 15 cases of children disappearing from hospitals and not with their own family at the time, said UNICEF advisor Jean-Luc Legrand. Trafficking networks were springing into action immediately after the disaster and taking advantage of the weakness of local authorities and relief coordination to kidnap children and get them out of the country, reported the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. One such person arrested for trafficking was New Life Child's refuge owner Laura Silsby, who, according to WikiLeaks documents, Hillary Clinton had been very interested in 9 years before the 2010 Haitian earthquake, and it was Bill Clinton that used his former presidential weight to have Silsby essentially freed. Oddly enough, on November 14th, the Laboratory to Combat Human Trafficking reported that Monica Peterson, investigating the Clintons' involvement in Haiti for the Human Trafficking Center, mysteriously died the day before. Peterson had been highly critical of the Clinton Foundation, writing on her blog, "Hillary Clinton should get far more scrutiny for her scandalous conduct in Haiti." From rigging the March 2011 presidential election for her favored candidate Michael Sweet Mickey Martelli, supporter of the CIA-created death squad, to ensuring that her brother Tony Rodham and a company that barely exists got a sweetheart gold mine concession in Haiti that royally cheated the state of Haiti. In a letter to her friend, Peterson had uncovered 2 huge trafficking scandals and a social displacement scandal with billions in unaccounted earthquake aid leading directly back to the Clintons. She had just begun investigating the correlation regarding the Clinton Foundation's Caracol Industrial Park complex and its connection to a human trafficking network when her life was mysteriously cut short. Something doesn't add up. John Bound for Infowars.com.
Pretty interesting. So this Monica Peterson, she passed away, and you know where she died? In Haiti. She was in Haiti when she died. And let's see if I got the date. Do I have a note on the date that she died? I think in 2016. 2016 she died, and then there's some controversy. Some people are saying she never was checking and investigating the whole thing, but these fact checkers, I tell you, fact check. Pizzagate falsely links death of sex worker activist to non-existent Clinton probe. There was another fact checker. This one, oh, sorry. I'm on the wrong thing. I went to the search. But basically, I don't need to go through all the fact checks, but there were fact checkers that, just like they do today, with like USA Today for Facebook and that kind of stuff. So yeah, Monica Peterson is definitely a suspicious death that we should ask questions about. And there was a human trafficking center in 2021 that was shut down, and I'm just bringing this up because I'm super curious. I think they were looking into some of this human trafficking, and I want to know why they closed. But after almost 20 years, the University of Denver campus had this human trafficking center. And do universities, first of all, I have a question. Do most universities have something like that where they have like a human trafficking center to look into human trafficking? So this was founded by a professor, and they had a human trafficking center, and it was suddenly shut down. It was a training program for people to learn about human trafficking. And yeah, let me see what year this was, because it's, it was 2021. So right after Biden became president. That's kind of interesting timing. So my question is, why was it shut down? And wouldn't you think every university would want to have a class for people to be able to learn about human trafficking and what to watch out for and how to investigate and that kind of stuff? So yeah, they had a human trafficking, and it was a part of a university, and they've taken over the universities with the indoctrination of children. I know I'm kind of going like way off track and off topic, but I feel like it's highly related. So now what I want to get into is something very, very interesting. Joe Rogan recently had a guest on his show. And his name is Robert Epstein, not Epstein, Robert Epstein, who was a Democrat. And Robert, in 2019, he's been doing his own independent investigations into big tech and how they manipulate people, and he discovered through a lot of his research and monitoring like more than 60 million people and their searches through Google, he's really like, that has been his specialty niche, is information on how Google is influencing the election. And I know this isn't related to Haiti per se, but it's like connecting the dots from Clinton to all the other shenanigans that are happening. So I think you'll see the connection after we cover some of this stuff. And I have a clip of him talking on Joe Rogan, but I'm going to start with his congressional testimony. I have 2 videos. The first is when people go and testify before Congress, they have a spiel they do before anybody asks them questions. Well, I've got a 1-minute clip of part of his spiel that kind of explains what he's been doing.
Number 1, in 2016, Google's search algorithm likely impacted undecided voters in a way that shifted at least 2.6 million votes to Hillary Clinton, whom I supported. I know this because I preserved more than 13,000 election-related searches prior to Election Day, and Google's search results were significantly biased in favor of Secretary Clinton. I know the number of votes that shifted because I've conducted dozens of controlled experiments that measure how opinions shift when search results are biased. I call this shift SEAM, the Search Engine Manipulation Effect, which I first published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in 2015. Biased search results can easily produce shifts in the opinions and voting preferences of undecided voters by up to 80% in some demographic groups because people blindly trust high-ranking search results over lower ones.
So that kind of explains what he was researching. And this was July 16th of 2019 when he testified to Congress, when Congress was investigating whether big tech algorithms were had an agenda, basically. All right, so I've got one more clip where I've actually got 2 more clips on him, but this is one more clip of his testimony where Ted Cruz is asking him questions.
You're not a Republican, and nor are you a conservative. Is that accurate?
That would be an understatement.
And indeed, you're the former editor-in-chief of Psychology Today.
Correct.
So you're a respected academic. You testified before this committee that Google's manipulation of votes gave at least 2.6 million additional votes to Hillary Clinton in the year 2016. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I want to make sure I understand. You personally supported and voted for Hillary Clinton.
I was a very strong public supporter of Hillary Clinton, yes.
So you're not dismayed that people voted for her, but your testimony is that Google is, through bias in search results, manipulating voters in a way they're not aware of.
On a massive scale. And what I'm saying is that I believe in democracy. I believe in the free and fair election more than I have any kind of allegiance to a candidate or a party. You can bet that all of these companies are going to go all out. And the methods that they're using are invisible. They're subliminal. They're more powerful than most any effects I've ever seen in the behavioral sciences, and I've been in the behavioral sciences for almost 40 years.
Do you happen to know who the Hillary Clinton campaign's #1 financial supporter was in the year 2016?
I think I do, but please remind me.
The #1 financial supporter of the Hillary Clinton campaign in the 2016 election was the parent company of Google, Alphabet, who was our first witness. They were her #1 financial donor, and your testimony is, through their deceptive search methods, they moved 2.6 million votes in her direction.
Again, with respect, I must correct you. The 2.6 million is a rock bottom minimum. The range is between 2.6 and 10.4 million, depending on how aggressively they used the techniques that I've been studying now for 6.5 years.
Pretty incredible. Now, wouldn't you think that the powers that be would want to shut him up? I would think so. I'm going to pull up a quick headline. Actually, maybe I'll show that after. You need to hear what he was talking to Rogan about. This guy, maybe trying to think if I want to, StreamYard lets you pull up videos in 2 different ways. And I think I want to show this so I can pause it. So hang on one second. This is really good. We'll see if it plays. Let's see if it'll play. Oh, it's not going to, so I won't be able to pause it. So I do have it pulled up my other way. So I'm going to set the stage a little bit. So back in July of 2019, and this is my last thing, by the way. And then I'm going to let you guys know what projects I'm working on and what's coming up on Saturday, what we're going to talk about. But this guy testified in 2019. And then he just went on Joe Rogan's show like 2 weeks ago. So this is 5 years later. And he's asking Rogan if he can have a meltdown on his show. And it's unbelievable. This is the segue that's going to lead into Saturday's show about warnings. Let's play it.
I need to have a meltdown. I would like to have a meltdown right now on your show.
You want to have a personal meltdown?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And I don't know what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But I am definitely going to melt down.
Okay.
I am completely fed up. I have worked day and night. I work about 80 hours a week. I'm directing almost 40 research projects. I've been working really hard for maybe 45 years. And the last 12 years where I've
turned my eye to Google and other tech companies have turned into, for me personally, a disaster. Before I started studying Google, I had published 15 books with major publishers. Since I've started studying Google and other companies, I can't publish anymore. I used to write for and actually work for mainstream news organizations and media organizations. I was editor-in-chief of Psychology Today for 4 years. I was an editor for Scientific American. I wrote for USA Today and U.S. News and World Report and Time Magazine. But in 2019, after I testified before Congress about some of my research on Google, President Trump tweeted to his whatever millions of gazillions of followers basically some praise for my research. He got the details wrong. But then Hillary Clinton, whom I had always admired, chose to tweet back to her 80 million Twitter followers, and she tweeted that my work had been completely debunked and was based on data from 21 undecided voters. I still have no idea where any of that came from. Probably someone from Google, because Google was her biggest supporter in 2016. And this was 2019, and then that got picked up by this machine. I'm told it's called the Clinton machine. And the New York Times picked that up without fact-checking, and then 100 other places did, and I got squashed like a bug. Squashed. I had a flawless reputation as a researcher. My research reputation was gone. I was now a fraud. Even though I've always published in peer-reviewed journals, which is really hard to do. There was nothing I could do about it. And all of a sudden I found that the only places I could publish were in what I call right-wing conservative nutcase publications, where I've actually made friends over the years. I've made friends with them, but that's beside the point. I was crushed. Not only that, I've been discovering things. I've made at least 10 major discoveries about new forms of influence that the internet has made possible. These are controlled almost entirely by a couple of big tech companies, affecting more than 5 billion people around the world every single day. I've discovered them, I've named them, I've quantified them, I've published randomized controlled studies to show how they work, published them in peer-reviewed journals. And I've built systems to do to them what they do to us and our kids. They surveil us and our kids 24 hours a day. Google alone does that over more than 200 different platforms, most of which no one's ever heard of. People have no idea the extent they're being monitored. They're being monitored if they have Android phones, they're being monitored even when your phone is off. Even when the power is off, you're still being monitored. Then my wife was killed in a suspicious car accident. This was also shortly after I testified before Congress in 2019. Right before she was killed, I did a private briefing for Ken Paxton, the AG of Texas, and other AGs at Stanford University. And one of those guys came out afterwards and he said, well, based on what you told us, Dr. Epstein, he said, I don't mean to scare you, but he said, I predict you're going to be killed in some sort of accident in the next few months. So I told you this before when I was on before, and obviously I wasn't killed, but my beautiful wife was killed. And, her vehicle was never inspected forensically, and then it disappeared from the impound lot. I was told it was sold to some junk company in Mexico. That is one of now six incidents of violence against people who are associated with me.
So that's an incredible story. And not only that, it's, he talked about his wife. His wife was killed. And his wife wasn't just killed. She was killed 3 months after he testified. No, not 3 months. He testified in July, and she was killed in December. But it was just a few months later. She happened to be killed in a car crash. They said she lost control of her truck on a rainy day. That's what they said. And it's very sus. And like he said, a lot of people around him have been harmed. And this is what I want to get to on Saturday, is this video actually inspired this whole 3-part podcast, to be honest. So he actually inspired me to want to cover the not only the Clinton kill list, but I call it, it's the State Department too. And not the State Department, the deep state. Sorry. Because this video that I watched with Joe Rogan inspired me to want to cover all of these suspicious, not just deaths, but warnings or deaths of family members or suspicious happenings, suicides, plane crashes. We're going to be able to circle back and just cover that over coffee, very relaxed. On Saturday morning, we'll have coffee. If anybody wants to join me on Saturday morning when we cover this stuff, and we can just chat about it and talk about conspiracy theories, that will be part 3. You can message me and let me know if you want to join in. I can have up to 10 people in here, so that would be kind of fun. But anyway, Misty Vaughn was his wife. She died in 2019 December. And you know what's I've got one more thing that's super interesting. Did you know, shoot, I closed my bookmarks, I got to reopen them. Hang on one second. Did you know that in 2014, the Huffington Post wrote an article about this guy, Robert Epstein, Dr. Robert Epstein. And you're not going to believe what they wrote. Okay, remember, his wife died in a car crash. The timing is incredible. All right, live stream. Let me get to today's live stream. And what did I call this one? 2014. You aren't going to believe this Huffington Post article, guys. This is 2014. Huffington Post, and they didn't take it down. This is not an archive. Google critic killed in ironic car accident. Struck by Google Street View vehicle. They reported that he was killed in a car accident. But he wasn't. Isn't that weird? That reminds me, who was that guy that they kept saying was killed over and over again? Do you guys remember that? Do you remember that? But the Huffington Post reported that Robert Epstein was killed in 2014. 5 years later, his wife was killed in a car accident. He never was killed. So that's all I'm going to cover today. We will, when we're finished on Saturday, I'll just mention it and then I'll show it on Saturday. But the Haitians in Ohio led to all of this. It's like the rabbit holes that you go down and you start connecting things, and it makes you remember about Hillary and Haiti and all the shenanigans. But Charlie Kirk posted, and I have to give a hat tip to Carrie. Thank you for helping me, Carrie. You're always so helpful with when I'm like going to research something. I appreciate everything, but he talked about how there's a lot of attention being given to Springfield, Ohio, but it's happening all over the country. So I'm going to show that on Saturday after we talk about the mysterious deaths, warnings from Deep State and the Clinton machine. Did you notice what he said? What did he say? He said, when he was talking to Joe Rogan, Mr. Epstein, he said, I'm told it's called the Clinton machine. I'm told it's called. Oh, somebody woke him up. Okay, I want to talk about some of the projects that I'm working on, guys. And then, first of all, if you like the show, will you hit a thumbs up and share it with your friends if you enjoyed it? I'm going to break it out into various clips on Twitter as part of that thread, so you can just share one link. If you just got one interesting thing to point out to people, that would be good. All right, I have a few projects going on. You guys know about Targeting the Innocent? That's going to be a new show that I'm starting next month. I'm super excited about it. And I'll be covering how they're targeting our children, basically. That is going to be, I'm not sure the format, it's definitely not going to be like this. I think it's going to be a little bit different. And I'm trying to decide whether it will be live stream or just pre-recorded. We'll see. More to come on that. I'm also still working on the store. So I'm still picking out products, guys. I am going to put an online store on my website. I'm in the middle of updating my website. As I'm going through and looking at products, it makes me think of each one of you. Every single one of you that like we talk to on a regular basis, you know, on Telegram and stuff. I've got all these products, and you guys will guess. When you see these, you'll know who it reminds you of, I think. So I'm not just going to have, like, Nev's merch to try to, you know, have like, my Nev's picture and avatar out there. I've got other products related to what we all care about, and I'm excited to put that out there. So that's coming soon. Also, in light of the fact that I'm laid off and looking for work, I'm also going to be, and I want to let you guys know about this because in case you know anybody or when I release this, maybe you can spread the word to people you know, or even if you own a business and need some of these services, I'm going to be creating Nev's Media, which will be like an umbrella over everything that I do. But basically, it will be to offer some of the services that I just voluntarily do to other people. So, like if somebody needs video creation, video editing, you know, I do a lot of videos for like Pepe Lives Matter. I'll still be doing that, but also if anybody needs help in producing their podcast and getting that up and running. So I will have Nev's Media coming soon. And just digital media creation and management services. So that's where I'll actually be charging money for some of the services that I do. So I'll have this showing that we've got social media, podcasting, and journalism. Right now it's just a one-page thing. And eventually the domain name's going to change, so I'm not going to share the domain name right now, but I will. So when I get this, all the business stuff around this, I want to share my link with you if you guys know anybody who owns their own business and might need some help with things. I'm working on that too. So I have a lot of projects going on. I'll continue to do this podcast and continue to post to social media. So, that's what's going on. You guys let me know if you have any questions. It was quite a show, wasn't it? So anyway, that brings us to the end of the episode. I really hope you enjoyed learning more about Haiti, the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, all of that. And again, on Saturday, we're going to have part 3 where we talk about mysterious deaths. We're going to go delve into conspiracy theories. So don't forget to follow me on social media. And please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. You know what? It's the way that these video companies work. If people like the videos, it makes it show up to more people when they're searching Rumble or searching YouTube or whatever, even on Twitter when you like tweets and stuff like that. So I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you everyone for joining. I know it was another long show. I'm going to try to get them down after we're done covering this stuff, but it was a lot. So I hope you have a good night. See ya. Oh, and keep asking those questions worth pondering. Good night.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all